What's up, Travel Tribe? Welcome to another video by Goats on the Road. In this week's video, we're gonna do another update from here in lockdown in Lisbon after 1 month, but this one's gonna be a little bit different, we hope.
Yeah, so we just watched back our last update video that we did for you, which was almost a month ago today, and we were pretty doom and gloom.
So we decided to just stay here and not go home to Grenada. And now Grenada's closed down completely. There's no flights in or out. Yeah, we sounded sad for the whole video, and I think we were kind of in that stage, so it did kind of portray what we were feeling. But now we've gone through a few different stages with this lockdown, basically, and we've kind of started to understand what it is and got into a bit of a groove together.
At the beginning, when we did that last video, we were supposed to be in Ireland for traveling around for a month, so we had canceled like a whole month of travel. We weren't sure what was going to be happening here in Lisbon. We were being told we had to go back to Canada by the government. Our travel insurance company was saying, we're not covering you, so everything was a bit up in the air and pretty stressy.
Yeah, so now we know we know a little bit better of what's going on and what the situation here is in Portugal. So in this video, we're going to share that with you. Yeah. And I think we'll start with just kind of the stages that we went through during this whole thing. When we first got locked down, there was a bit of panic, and we were just like, what are we going to do? Are we going to fly back to Canada? Are we going to stay here? Are we going to be covered for insurance? Is our visa going to run out? And we were just kind of freaking out.
Yeah. So since then, at least we've gotten some answers, and we've been told by the Portuguese government that all foreigners' documents have been extended to June 30th. So check, we know that we're allowed to stay here legally, there's no problem. So that was a huge relief. Our travel insurance company has extended the coverage as well because we have an expat policy, so we are now covered. So that was big.
Yeah.
What else has changed?
Well, we're still allowed to walk around, like we're allowed to go for a walk around the nearby park. We're allowed to go to the grocery store whenever we want. So we do have a lot of freedom here in comparison to some other places. I'm not going to say it's free. I mean, it would be nice if we're allowed to walk wherever we want, but we have quite a bit of freedom, especially considering the number of cases here in Portugal. Yeah. But they seem to be dealing with it really well. And yeah, we've always had this freedom. We've been able to go to the grocery store, and we're just so happy and feel so fortunate for our little walk up the road. Yeah,
because a lot of places, like even just going to the grocery store, only one person per household, or you have to have a pass, and you can only go on certain days, things like that. We can go any day of the week, any time that the thing is open, and we're allowed to walk around. So to us, that's huge to be able to get out and to just have exercise as well.
Yeah. And what was the next stage we went through, do you think? Like, so we started off with just panic.
Yeah, we panicked, we were freaking out. And then it was a little bit of clarity, I guess, started to form. We started to think, what should we do? And we decided, okay, well, we know we're in here now. We have to do something with this time. So we decided to start a website.
Yeah.
We started working out online, going for lots of walks, buying lots of wine, eating good food.
Yeah, I think that's kind of when we started falling into that groove, because we already work online and we're so happy that we do, and that even though obviously income and traffic has been tanking on the travel sites, right, all across the board, but we're just so happy to have that as like one of our hobbies and one of the things we love to do. So we're at home, but we are used to kind of being at home together, working on the computers. Yeah. And we just kind of started accepting that in this lockdown and really utilizing the time, trying to be as productive as possible. And I'm so happy that I started this new site, because it's filled up, 6 to 7 hours a day of my life here inside. So we don't even feel like we're missing out that much. There's not that much FOMO going on. We just feel like we're productive.
That's the interesting thing too, because we are so used to working online, working remotely, and being with each other all the time. It's kind of been like not a huge adjustment for us, which is really nice, because I know for a lot of people things are quite a bit different. Yeah. So on one hand, we're handling it pretty well, I'd say, in that way. And like Nick said, now we're using this time as a bit of a gift to start new projects and new websites, and we have something to do all day.
Yeah, exactly. And now that we know that we're kind of secure and safe here in Lisbon, and things are starting to look up, it's actually a really good place to be. So I think next, and that's just starting now in the last couple days, the next kind of phase is that there are whispers of things reopening slowly here in Portugal and in other parts of the world. And of course, we don't want it to be that everything opens up and there's a big spread or something. We just want it to open up a little bit at a time, and we still keep our social distancing, but we would be able to maybe go down to the water, go for a longer walk, just be a little bit more healthy, get a little bit more sunshine.
Well, they're talking about some things here in Portugal, so that's what you're meaning, right? Yeah, so they're saying in like 2 weeks maybe they're gonna slowly start to open some things up a little bit. And maybe, who knows, we'll be able to actually see a bit more of Portugal, because I don't see the borders opening. Well,
No.
like we won't be flying anywhere. I don't
want to fly anyways.
Yeah, no. And like we're based in Grenada and their borders are closed, and we're not going to Canada because we don't live there. So this is the place that we're going to be until everything opens. So at least if we could travel around Portugal,
yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty amazing, yeah. So we have that to kind of look forward to, but I don't think even if it did open up, things would change that much for us. Like we were talking about it, and all of a sudden if restaurants were open and they're packed, we probably wouldn't be going in there. We'd maybe go to a restaurant once a week, and they're talking about having half as many tables in the restaurant, so you're always far away, disposable menus, all that kind of stuff. But we would still just be working during the day on our site, and then maybe
walking and
going for longer walks, and it would be very similar to what it is now. And we're kind of living the life we lived in Grenada when we were there, because we always just used that time to work. So
work, and then like the only thing would probably be different walks. So we'd walk down to the water as opposed to like the park nearby, so we get a different scenery. That would be kind of nice. And then restaurants once a week. And I don't know, one of the great things here too is that you're allowed to like drink on the streets, in the parks, by the beach, whatever. So a lot of people here, you get a cheap bottle of wine for a couple of dollars, and rather than going to a restaurant, you just sit out in the sun and have a drink. So that's another way that we could kind of save money but still do something different.
So we can see the next phase that we think we're gonna have, and that's gonna be when everything opens up and it's responsible and safe to travel around again. And I think one thing we've learned from this is that we're never gonna take travel for granted ever again.
Ever.
And we're definitely gonna think about traveling more sustainably whenever we do start traveling again.
And think of all the places that we want to go and all the things we want to see and things we want to do. Basically not waste any time. We want to definitely travel as much as possible going forward.
Yeah, when you have something like this happen, you start to realize that all these freedoms that we have as human beings, we do take them for granted, I guess, and it's too bad to have to think that way. But I think when everything opens, Dariece and I are gonna, try to see more places, try to meet more people, learn more culture, eat different food, drink different red wine, and just get out and see more of the world. You only live once, and for us, that's kind of something that's keeping us going. It's just thinking about the thought of traveling again and how travel could change and be a little bit more positive for people and for the environment all around the world, and also how we could kind of change the way we travel and how we could travel more than we already have. Not that we haven't traveled a lot already, but yeah, I'd love to go out some more.
One way that I think travel is going to change, or something that we're at least going to try to do more of, is traveling more sustainably, like taking trains instead of flying, because I have a feeling airport travel and flying is going to be difficult for a while. So overland could be best. I think a lot of people are going to be traveling domestically as well, like exploring their own backyard just with their own vehicle or by train or bus. And also trying to get off track again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big thing, I think, is that over tourism became such a huge thing in the world, and it almost became an epidemic or a pandemic in itself. It was just becoming so damaging to the environment and to certain areas of the world. So I think people maybe after this will get back to a bit of the roots of travel and where travel came from, and that was actually traveling and getting off the beaten path.
Being intrepid,
going and finding new things to see, and not just flocking to the same city centers and the same historical sites
and the Instagram
that you see on Instagram. So yeah, I think for us too, we're gonna be like, okay, we got into travel doing exactly that. How can we get as far away from everyone else as we possibly can on the tourist trails? So we were going to Kyrgyzstan and Mongolia and Central Asia,
Africa,
long before there was many people there. So I think that's one thing we're going to try to do when this opens up again, is to just continue on our off the beaten path travel routes.
I think so, yeah. And also getting back into nature too, because now that we've been in a city for so long, we're really missing like being in the mountains, being by the rivers, by the lakes, oceans, stuff like that. So I think we're going to do a bit of that type of travel afterwards.
Yeah, like big, long, multi-day hikes like we used to do. I think a lot of people during this, even if they're not in a city, they're feeling the urge to connect back with nature. And I know we are for sure. We just are really looking forward to going out and, maybe I do a little bit of fishing. Maybe we go on these long hikes. Really looking forward to that. So before we end this video, I thought it'd be kind of cool to just share a bit of the other people that are in our industry, like other digital nomads, other expats and other travelers who are around the world right now, and kind of dealing with this in different ways, and kind of how like different countries are dealing with it in different ways as well.
Yeah, we're in a unique position because we don't actually have a home. A lot of us that are digital nomads, we sort of move around the world. And we have a website, of course, and Facebook and stuff, so a lot of our readers and other followers and friends have been reaching out and telling us a bit of their story.
So we'll read a couple of them here. I've got my phone, and they sent these in to us via email.
Yeah.
This couple are UK citizens, and they're in India. And they said, "We are stranded in Goa, India. At first, the lockdown was terrible. It was implemented with 4 hours notice, given at 8 p.m. in the evening to come into effect at midnight. All shops were already closed, so it wasn't even possible to go and buy food to get them through lockdown. For the first few days, people were out looking for food and water. They had no choice. If the police caught anyone out, they were beating them with sticks." So, of course, that sounds pretty bad. And when we were reading this, it's sad to hear, and it was kind of scary. But Dariece said that there was a recent comment from Goa as well from another reader.
Yeah, she was saying that things have changed now. Everything's totally calmed down. Everybody was just kind of freaking out at first and didn't know how to handle it. But now she says like the beaches are completely clean and people are allowed to walk and get out and about, and like there's no cases there or anything too. So it started off pretty hectic, but it sounds like thankfully it's changed, at least in Goa.
Yeah.
Another reader here is in Thailand, and he decided to stay there and just sort of ride it out. He says there's no cases there. The island is closed though to go in or out, and so is Thailand as a whole. Masks are mandatory, but it's enforced loosely. I ride my bike 60 to 90 kilometers 5 times a week with 0 issues of traffic, because there's obviously nobody out there. Liquor sales were closed for a bit, but they're open again. You can go out for food, like takeaway, and there's hardly anyone around. The weather's been flawless, and I'm sitting here in my pool villa watching magical sunsets every night.
This guy's villa is beautiful. We've seen photos of it on Facebook. It's pretty spectacular.
So, and the other thing too, the main part is that they extended all foreigner visas until the end of July with no issues. So you can just stay there in Thailand. So things are not so bad there.
And the last one we're going to read is a couple of readers who are house sitting in Costa Rica, and they are American, but they said, "We were only supposed to be pet sitting and house sitting here for 5 weeks, but now we'll be here for 90 days, the maximum of our visa. But Costa Rica has been a really good place to be during this time. They took COVID-19 seriously early on, and they said we feel quite safe here and are not necessarily looking to returning back to Arizona." So they said they've been able to go out for walks, and if they pass anyone, they just stay about 6 feet away, and everyone seems to be following the rules quite closely. So they said actually they're having a good time in Costa Rica, and they feel safe, and it never really hit there where it seemed like it was a lockdown and panic, but in other places it did. So it seems like countries as a whole kind of went through the similar feelings as we did. You know, you go through stages of, oh my God, panic, and people were buying up toilet paper and hand sanitizer. And then you kind of get into a new stage where you're kind of falling into the groove of it or trying to figure out what you're going to do during the time.
Everybody calms down. Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting to see how each country has been handling it, and then what digital nomads are doing. Like a lot of people, they returned home to where their passport is from, but that's not home for so many people. So that was kind of weird for them. But then those who chose to stay abroad, things are sort of working themselves out. Like everybody was freaking out about visas. That was the main thing, right? But even Thailand, they've extended. Portugal's extended, the Philippines has extended. You kind of have to, because you shouldn't be traveling right now.
And yeah, here in Portugal even, they're giving some citizen rights to people that don't have proper documents so that they have access to healthcare in case of emergencies. Yeah. So yeah, governments and countries are giving a little bit of concession to people who are stuck in these countries and don't want to get on planes and fly back home during a pandemic. And for digital nomads like us who don't have health insurance at home and don't have homes there, it just makes sense.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's an update from us during a month here in lockdown in Portugal. It's been interesting to see how people are being affected with this and all the stages that they're going through. And we'd love to hear from you as well. So let us know where in the world you are, how you're feeling, and what's going on in the country that you're in the comments down below.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, as always, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll get notified next time we make a video.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.